They are two of the best players of this millennium. Together, they were supposed to form a dynasty and win numerous titles. But after several disappointments in the playoffs, what followed were taunts, veiled insults, and a lot of tension. This is the story of the love-hate relationship between Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and how they went from teammates to enemies. From 2007 to 2009, the Oklahoma City Thunder selected 3 of the 10 best players of that generation in consecutive drafts. After drafting Kevin Durant and moving to Oklahoma in 2008, the franchise also added Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Serge Ibaka. The work done in these 3 years was like winning the lottery 3 times in a row. But from the start, the process had its growing pains. Durant and Westbrook were only 20 years old when they first played together, and it was clear that finding a balance between the two would take time. A point guard role didn't come naturally to the explosive and unpredictable Westbrook, who had never been a full-time point guard. Wesley dominated the league in turnovers as a rookie, and the Oklahoma City Thunder won only 23 games. With the arrivals of James Harden and Serge Ibaka, the Thunder transformed into a powerhouse, winning 50 and then 55 games in the following 2 seasons. Even so, months before the campaign that would take them to the NBA Finals in 2012, the first signs of friction began to appear. During a game in December against the Memphis Grizzlies, tensions rose when Durant tried to calm an irate Westbrook after he yelled at teammate Tabu Cephalosha for hesitating to shoot a three-pointer. Durant and Westbrook argued, and the fight ended with Reyes pushing KD's hand away. The scene didn't go down well, especially since Westbrook finished the game with 0 successful shots on 13 attempts, while Durant scored 32 points and saved the Thunder in a 98-95 victory. After the game, Durant commented to close associates that he wanted a meeting with General Manager Sam Presti to discuss his growing doubts about Westbrook. But that reunion never happened, and Durant decided to continue believing in the promise that they would still win the title together. And for the remainder of the 2012 season, everything seemed to be on track. OKC had the second best record in the West and the second best offense in the league. No one could stop the deadly trio formed by Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. The Thunder dominated the playoffs, sweeping Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavs, beating Kobe Bryant and the Lakers in 5 games, and then defeating Duncan and the Spurs in 6 games, reaching the NBA Finals against the Miami Heat. Despite Durant having an incredible series, averaging 30 points and shooting 55 per 100, and Westbrook also shining with 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists for the game, James Harden disappointed. Barber averaged just 12 points in the series, scoring fewer than 10 in 3 out of 5 games. Even so, it was thanks to Harden that the Thunder made it to the finals. What happened next was one of the biggest mistakes in recent NBA history. Just days before the start of the 2013 season, the Thunder traded James Harden. Even with an extra year left on his rookie contract, OKC was afraid of exceeding the salary cap. Instead of offering Harden the maximum contract of USDN, the team offered only USDN, something James considered an insult. Because of just USDN, the Thunder lost a future Hall of Famer and received virtually nothing in return. Even after making a colossal mistake, the team was still strong. After all, there was still Real Madrid and De Bruyne. In December of that year, the Thunder won 60 games and had the best offense in the league. But during the first round of the playoffs, a collision with Patrick Beverley caused Russell Westbrook to tear his meniscus, keeping him out for the remainder of the season. Boquent still managed to beat Harden and Rocket in the first round, but was eliminated shortly after by the Memphis Grizzlies. With the season in the league and the foreigner on the brink of extinction, Kevin Durant seems to have the weight of the world on his shoulders. And while we're used to seeing him make plays like Superman, he's clearly found his kryptonite with the Memphis Grizzlies. Cada. They conceded only 5 out of 21 points by 21 points, and we battle in every game. Each of these games went down to the wire. With Westbrook undergoing 3 knee surgeries and missing half the season, the Thunder needed Durant to play in God mode just to secure a playoff spot. And that's exactly what he did, averaging 35 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 6.3 assists without Westbrook on the court. After the All-Star game, runs returned, but his comeback wasn't the best. The Thunder were crushed by the Miami Heat on national television in his first game back. After losing 2 more games with Durant and Westbrook playing in an extremely individualistic manner, KD began to worry that the readjustment process with Westbrook could jeopardize his chances of winning the CMVP. That's when Brian Keith, the Thunder's assistant coach at the time, delivered a direct message: get over it. The Thunder started winning again, finishing the season with 59 wins. With an average of 32 points per game, Durant finally won the MVP award. And in one of the most memorable MVP speeches in history, Kevin was overcome with emotion, especially when thanking his mother. When it came time to thank his teammates, Durant left Russell for last, but it was clear how much he cared about his point guard. In the 2015 season, however, the roles were reversed. This time, it was Durant who missed most of the year due to a broken foot, and in his absence, Ashbrook was completely unleashed, leading the league with an average of 28 points per game. Even so, without KD, the Thunder missed the playoffs by just one win. Despite both stars shining individually, it was clear that the Thunder would only be truly competitive with both of them on the court. In 2016, the 8th year of Durant and Westbrook's partnership, everything indicated that it would be their year. Under the leadership of new coach Billy Donovan, who replaced the incompetent Scott Brooks, OKC finally began playing a more collective style of basketball, exploiting the pick and roll between Rose and KD. With the emergence of the Stack Bros, Steven Adams, and Skenta, in addition to the development of Serge Ibaka and Andre Robertson, the Thunder finished the regular season with 55 wins and the second-best offense in the league. The relationship between Ruiz and KD seemed to be at its peak. When Durant was inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, he chose Westbrook to present him. A year earlier, at the 2014 Aspies, Durant had called Ruiz his favorite teammate. And when Mark Cuban declared that Westbrook wasn't a true star, KD responded, "He's an idiot." But even so, it wasn't as if the feud between the two stars had ended. After defeating the Mavs and advancing to face the San Antonio Spurs, Russell and KD had a heated argument on the sidelines following a defensive lapse. However, they quickly regrouped, and after 6 games, the Thunder beat the Spurs and advanced to the conference finals, where they would face the best team of all time in regular season history. Against Oz, who had a historic 73-9 record, it seemed that Raz and KD had finally found their rhythm, opening up a 3-1 lead in the series. The Warriors won Game 5 at home, even with Durant and Westbrook combining for 71 points. In Game 6, everything indicated that OKC was on its way to a +1 final, when it opened up an 8-point lead in the final fourth, but then everything fell apart. Although the game was marked by Klay Thompson's historic performance, who hit several three-pointers, it was the Thunder's mistakes that cost them the victory. The team committed 6 turnovers in the last 8 posts, 4 by Russ, 2 of KD. There was still Game 7 to play, but after a disastrous 7th game in which they were defeated 29-12, their fate was sealed. KC became only the 10th team in NBA history to squander a 3-1 lead in the playoffs. The Thunder simply collapsed in the crucial moments, and with the team's collapse, the relationship between its two stars also began to crumble. Durant increasingly struggled to cope with Westbrook's individualistic style, the famous hero ball, and with the fact that his talent was often overshadowed by his stubbornness, turnovers, and forced shots against double teams. But it wasn't as if everything was Westbrook's fault. One of the biggest misconceptions in basketball is believing that certain players can't play together because there's only one ball. While it's true that Westbrook, and Harden were players who needed to handle the ball, the real problem was that Oklahoma City never had a true offensive system. In practice, the team didn't have a defined system. There were a few well-coordinated plays, repeated year after year, and that was it. The attack boiled down to shifting the focus. One bet for Russ, another for Durant, and another for Harden when he was still there. Towards the end of the Scott Brooks era, when Billy Donovan took over, the Thunder even developed the pick and roll between Russ and KD. But if the play didn't work right away, the team quickly reverted to isolation. Entering God 1000, 14-2000, 16, OKC was last in the league in terms of successful passes per game. Oklahoma recruited incredible talent, but never knew how to integrate them. The Thunder never created anything like the triangle offense, which helped Michael Jordan transform his individual dominance into championships. No dynamic, positionless offense like the one Eric Spoelstra used to help LeBron James, Wade, and Chris Bosh win championships. A good system makes great players sacrifice ego and statistics, and rewards that sacrifice with victories. Oklahoma has never done that. It's not that the Thunder weren't efficient, but that efficiency came from the simple fact that no team could stop their stars in one-on-one situations, and from their incredible ability to draw fouls. Many absences. From 2010 to 2016, the Oklahoma City Thunder ranked among the top 3 in NBA free throws made in 4 seasons. OK dominated against teams against which it had an advantage in individual talent, which at the time was the majority of teams in the league. If they faced a team that could match that talent, problems arose. And while it's true that Ashbrook was sometimes like a cow that gives 100 liters of milk and then kicks the bucket, wasting it all with rushed three-point shots, forced isolations, and countless turnovers, he was also the engine of the team. Russ drew a lot of fouls, executed the autumn pick and roll with Durant, found open teammates after drives, defended well in one-on-one situations, and took control in crucial moments. Westbrook brought a necessary dose of craziness to KC's rigid offense. After all, even he didn't know what he would do next. If he didn't know, then the opposing defense didn't know either. This maintained an unpredictable and dangerous tandem. Even though Durant was the best player, it was Russ who gave the team the best chance of winning a title. But that title never came. The problem is that he chose the worst possible destination, the team that had just defeated them in the playoffs and that had the best record in NBA history. Golden State Warriors. A week before publishing the infamous letter, Durant was sitting in a restaurant with Westbrook and Nick Collinson. We were going to fully believe that he would renew his contract with the Thunder, but then KD simply stopped communicating with his teammates. He sent only a short message to Russ minutes before the world found out about his decision, and that's when everything went completely wrong. A few hours after an announcement, on July 4th, Westbrook posted a picture of cupcakes with the caption, "Happy 4th of July, everyone." The image was a clear dig at Durant. When Kendrick Perkins played for the Thunder, he used to call any teammate who was being too soft cupcake. In other words, Rush was provoking KD, and this wouldn't be the only time. A month after Durant's departure to the Warriors, Westbrook signed his contract extension with the Thunder. Soon after, he released a commercial for the Jordan brand with the slogan, "Some run away, others create their own path." But it was a direct provocation. But Durant didn't stay silent. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, he downplayed his relationship with Westbrook, saying they were just work colleagues, this after, years before, calling him brother and part of the family. After his first preseason game with Golden State, KD also made a point of praising his new teammates. When Russ was asked about it, he added fuel to the fire, and the rivalry really started to heat up. When the NBA season began, OKC faced Golden State in the 5th game of the year. And before their first match as opponents, Ashbrook decided to show up for the game dressed as an official photographer. Even though he never admitted it, he was clearly inspired by Durant, who is an enthusiastic photographer and even covered Super Bowl XI in that role. But when the game really got going, Russ had very little reason to smile, with Oris crushing OKC by 26 points, and Durant beating him 39-20. The second time the two teams faced each other, in January 2017, things didn't improve much for Westbrook and the Thunder. KD scored 40 points to Westbrook's 27, and Golden State won by 21. At the end of the game, when Enes Kanter of the Thunder approached to speak with his teammates, Russ was caught on camera cursing for having greeted Durant. After the game, when asked if he and Durant still spoke, Westbrook gave a direct answer, no. The third matchup of the 2017 season took place on February 1st, and it was the first time KD returned to Oklahoma after signing with Oz. Durant was prepared for a hostile environment, but there was no way he could have been ready for so much hatred. Cupcake had already become a very familiar term among Thunder fans, and along with countless signs, insults, and cardboard signs with cupcakes drawn on them, the fans booed KD every time he touched the ball. However, when the game started, everything seemed to be just about basketball. Then Andre Robertson committed a hard foul on Durant, and the two got into a clearly personal fight. After the 3rd and 4th minutes, following a timeout, Westbrook had nothing good to say to KD when the two met in the middle of the court. But even though he won the argument, he didn't win the game, as Golden State easily defeated the Thunder for the 3rd consecutive time, even with Westbrook's 47 points. The two former teammates, now rivals, didn't have to wait long to see each other again, as both were selected to represent the West in the 2018 2017 All-Star Game in New Orleans, and it was as embarrassing as possible. KD and Russ used to travel together to the All-Star Game, sit side by side in the locker room, and share moments of friendship. Now, one of them asked to stay on the opposite side, to limit any contact as much as possible. The players who were with them described the atmosphere in the training locker room as painfully quiet and uncomfortable. Even at Media Day on Friday, Westbrook deliberately arrived late just to avoid having to answer questions alongside Durant. When he finally showed up, he inevitably had to answer questions about Kevin. But Westbrook's strategy quickly became clear. He would steer all the questions toward topics like fashion. However, when the game started, instinct took over. And everything was forgotten for a brief moment. When Westbrook stepped onto the court midway through the fifth, it didn't take him a minute to shoot that look at KD. The same look from so many old plays. Durant cut to the basket, Westbrook passed the ball, cut behind it, and Durant returned it with an overhead pass, resulting in a dunk by Russ. The arena exploded. For that brief moment, everything seemed to have returned to normal. Everyone celebrated. The ice had finally been broken and the heavy atmosphere had disappeared. But it only lasted 82 seconds, the exact time the pair was on the court together. The fourth time KC and Golden State faced each other during the 2017 season, Kevin did not play due to an injury. A few months later, Russ won the MVP award after finishing the season averaging a triple-double. Meanwhile, KD finally achieved what he always wanted, his first NBA title with the Warriors. Even so, the rivalry was not over. The world wasn't ready to leave that behind. Peyton Manning even took advantage of the 2017 ESPY Award stage to poke fun at the two and reignite the feud. Our gymnastics team was so dominant that Kevin Durant told me he wanted to play for them next time. When the 2018 season began, KD played his second game back with KC. This time, the crowd wasn't as hostile, despite the presence of some cupcake posters in the stands. But between him and Russ, the attention was still visible. However, for the remainder of the season, the rivalry seemed to have subsided. At the 2018 All-Star Game, the energy was completely different. KD went on to say positive things about Ashbrook and even admitted that he was to blame for the situation between the two. Durant also praised one of Westbrook's favorite dunks when asked about it, even without directly mentioning his name. They say time heals all wounds, but despite everything that had happened, the rivalry between Rose and KD hadn't died. The main reason for this was social media. Durant was already known for getting involved in arguments on Twitter and Instagram, and in the spring of 2018 he liked a post saying that Rose was the reason for his departure from OKC. Durham later told ESPN that liking the comment was an accident, something no one believed. What made the situation worse was the fact that his brother and people close to him also posted negative things about Westbrook. In 2019, when it seemed like nobody was talking about it anymore, the ever-loud and controversial Stephen A. Smith reignited the issue, saying that Westbrook never believed in Durham's leadership abilities. If you are going to join KD regarding anything, you'll get into it about the same thing. They said that when he was in Oklahoma City, he wasn't considered the leader. I said, "What are you talking about?" "I know it's because you're the best player." They said he was the best player. They said it was difficult for Russell Westbrook to follow him because KD, the man you see now. A year later, Durant appeared on the Out of Smoke podcast, further reigniting the rivalry. In 2021, Durant participated in another podcast and failed to mention Westbrook among the top 5 teammates he's ever had. However, in recent years, it seemed that the two had finally buried the axe of war. In the 2016 playoffs, in a series between Russell Ashbrook's Los Angeles Clippers and Kevin Durant's Phoenix Suns, KD had nothing but praise for his former teammate. After Game 4, when Westbrook scored 37 points, Durant stated that he greatly respected Russ's effort and intensity. Although there was still some playful jabs during the series, the atmosphere was completely different. Competitive, but respectful, without the rancor that marked previous years. They even shook hands in the tunnel after the match, sealing a symbolic moment of reconciliation. We hope that this time it's for good.